Data from Africa Centre for Disease Control shows that there has been more than 38,000 cases of Mpox and close to 2,000 deaths in Africa since January 2022. The National Institute for Communicable Diseases says of the 24 positive cases in the country, the majority are in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. Since the first case was reported in May this year, 3 people have died. Dr. Richard Lessells, an infectious disease specialist, says there needs to be a coordinated response that will benefit the continent.
And it means African countries committing resources, and that means financial resources. Part of the reason for the Africa CDC declaring this public health emergency was that they wanted the mandate as part of the African Union to kind of take control of these epidemics on the African continent. But that then puts pressure on African governments to commit funding and resources to support the response in the most affected areas. And that's what we need to see now, is that political will and financial commitment to really give us the support that is needed to control this outbreak.
In KwaZulu-Natal, which has a high number of people infected with HIV and AIDS, Dr. Lessells says people on antiretroviral therapy do not appear to be at greater risk of Mpox.
Unfortunately, when people have very weakened immune systems, and in our context, that's particularly people with advanced HIV disease. And that means HIV disease that's not effectively treated with antiretrovirals. Their Mpox can really present very differently and can have a number of complications. And that's when people then need to be hospitalized. And unfortunately, in a small number of cases, that can lead to death. And that's really one of the main concerns here in South Africa and in KwaZulu-Natal specifically, about the risk of kind of further spread of Mpox from Central Africa or from other regions. If that was to then spread more generally in the population, then we have a high number of people vulnerable then to the more severe Mpox disease.
Despite awareness, suspected cases across the African continent continue to surge. For SABC News, I am Jade Paulser in Durban.